Welcome back, nation of Israel and friends and visitors. Glory and honor to Father Yahweh as we continue in his word through Messiah YHWH. So we were studying Deuteronomy chapter 27. And now we're going into chapter 28. And chapter 28 is a pivotal chapter because, especially I know for myself, and I know I'm bearing witness for a lot of others, we who are bloodline Israelites started to discover who we were when we read the book of Deuteronomy, and particularly as we read chapter 28. As strange as it might seem, the curses of chapter 28 alerted me to who we were, because those curses didn't come upon any other people as far as we know in the history of mankind. The way those curses came, the description of those curses, as well as other witnesses in Leviticus of Moses and other prophets like Ezekiel and Jeremiah, as well as others, there's only one group of people that fit the description of those curses. Okay, only one. And that's how the Bible does things in that sense. It will describe something, and only one entity or people or thing can fit that description. For example, in the prophecy of Daniel, it talks about 4 kingdoms. In the prophecy of Daniel, it talks about kingdoms starting with Babylon. And it talks about the 4th kingdom, and it says, it describes it as iron, and it says out of the 4th kingdom would come a little horn that's going to rule both politically and religiously. And it was going to attack the saints. And in fact, the 4 kingdoms are also described in Zechariah as the 4 powers that scattered Israel and Judah. And it started with Babylon. And so you see kingdoms that's followed Babylon that scattered Israel and Judah. And you see Babylon, and then it tells you Medes and the Persians were next. And then it tells you Greeks. And so you're left to say, okay, a kingdom that came after Greece that would rise as a religious power and would scatter Israel and Judah. And then, of course, when you read the New Testament, you see that the kingdom that came after Greece was Rome. So then it says, okay, so you're putting it all together, and it says, okay, there's going to come this kingdom after Greece that was Rome, and out of Rome would arise this religious power. See, so it never says Catholic Church, never says that, but it describes in such a way a kingdom that came after Greece that would also scatter Israel and Judah, that would have a power, a little horn that arises out of it of religious consequence. And there's only one that fits that description, a religious power that arose out of Rome, Italy, the Catholic Church. Okay. And the little horn being the Pope. So that's how the Bible does it. It describes things, and then it puts it in such a way that there's really only one answer, right? So there's only one answer to what religious power rises out of Rome with a little power at the head of it. That's the Roman Catholic Church, right? Okay, so in the Bible, it does the same thing. What people were scattered from the land of Israel, were placed into slavery, were put into lands where they were despised, were put into lands where they were afflicted and oppressed and put into slavery by ships and have chains of iron around their neck. What people looks like Ethiopians and went across Ethiopia to become slaves? There's only one group of people. Okay, there's only one group of people that fits that description. So again, it was Deuteronomy 28 that caused me to awaken and say, wait a minute, this is not the Ashkenazi Jews. This doesn't fit them. They weren't taken into slavery by chains and ships. They weren't placed into a nation where they became despised in the lower rung of society, the poorest ones, the tail and not the head. They weren't placed in that situation. And they actually got land. as a result of their struggles and as a result of their oppression. They received a whole nation of land from the other children of Ephraim. So it's not them. And that starts saying, well, who is it then? And there's only one group of people that fits that description. That's us. Okay. So that's how the Bible does things. It describes in prophecy, it describes certain entities and it tells you these are the descriptions. And then these descriptions only fit one nation or one group. Okay. So there you have it. There you have it. So let's continue. First of all, so in Deuteronomy 28, it's really divided into two parts. There's the blessing and there's the curse. Okay, there's the blessing and the curse. Now, it's always Father's intent to set his people up in the best way possible to make us the most prosperous and happy as we can be. That's his intent. In fact, we can go back to Adam. Was the Father's intent that Adam should die? Was the Father's intent that Adam or either Adam's children should experience death? It was never his intent. The Father's intent is made manifest by his creation of all things. And again, in Genesis chapter 1, beginning again at verse 26, Genesis chapter 1, beginning at verse 26, it shows us his intention. Genesis chapter 1, beginning at verse 26 and going down to verse 31. And Yah said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Yah created man in his own image. In the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created he them. And Yah blessed them. And Yah said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And Yah said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And Yah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So we can see Father Yah doesn't die. And so he made man in his image. So man was not supposed to experience death. Death came from Satan, and Satan wanting to be his own God, therefore detaching himself from his creator who gave him life. And so the Most High made man and said to man, obey my command and do not eat of this tree that brings death. So therefore, Adam was supposed to live forever. It was not the Father's intention. It was not his intention that Adam should ever die, nor any of Adam's children. He gave the command for them to replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion over it. And then he didn't even intend for animals to die, because he gave man a diet of fruit. Every herb bearing seed, which is the fruit of a tree bearing seed, to you it shall be for meat. That was the original diet of man. Of course, we don't have that anymore. So let me explain before somebody get like I get and think you should just eat all fruit. You can't do it now because the fruit is corrupted. The food is corrupted on the earth. So I tried it. Believe me, you cannot just live on fruit. It's not healthy for the long term. You will have problems. But that was the original intent. Fruit was supposed to be our food. Animals were not eating each other. They were supposed to eat greenery, green things. He said herbs of green. He said, what did he call it? He said, and to every beast of the field and fowl of the air, everything that creepeth, I have given every green herb for meat. So they were supposed to eat the green herb. That was the original intent of the Father. That is why a number of reasons, one of the reasons that we really, death is not something we're supposed to be used to. It's supposed to affect us. And the reason it's supposed to affect us is because originally it should not exist. Okay, originally it should not exist. Death was not supposed to exist, but now it does. And that's why Messiah wants to put an end. Father used his son to put an end to the existence of death, so that death is temporary. Okay, either you exist in life or you don't exist. That's at the end of what's going to happen. Either you exist in life or you don't exist. And so he intended for this earth to be a kingdom of eternal life. Okay. But of course, we know that didn't happen. And so Isaiah explains to us in Isaiah 65, he explains to us, the Father uses that message of Yeshua the prophet to explain to us what the new kingdom is supposed to be like. And again, in Isaiah 65, beginning at verse 17 and going down to verse 25, Isaiah 65 from verse 17 to verse 25. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth. The former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. So he's going to create new heavens and a new earth. In other words, he's going to clean up what we have polluted through sin. And it's going to be new again, as if it never was cursed. As if it never was cursed. Okay. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. Let me explain that. There's no death in the kingdom. But what he's saying is you are a child until you're 100 years old. But in this earth, when a man is 100 years old, what you have when you're 100, pain, and you can't see, and you might not be able to taste stuff, and you are feeble. See, and the sinner being 100 years old is a curse. But in the kingdom, you're a child. Your first 100 years of life in the kingdom, you're considered an infant, a child. Okay. Verse 21. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. How long should a tree live? Well, how long is the tree of life live? That's how long we're supposed to live. As long as there's a tree of life, that's how long we're supposed to live. And we're going to have joy in the things we build, in the things we inhabit. Praise the Most High. This is the new kingdom. Okay? Forever. That's right. Forever. Verse 23. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yahweh, and their offspring with them. Offspring, that is, children. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith Yahweh. So that's the future kingdom. Okay. And of course, we know in Revelation, one of my favorite areas to read about the kingdom is the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 21. And Revelation chapter 21 says it like nobody else says it, but it's really the same as what we just read in Isaiah 65 and in other places. But here in Revelation chapter 21, beginning at verse 1 and go down to verse 5. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So when it says earth passed away or heaven passed away, that means the blight of sin is passed away. The earth, the Bible says, is forever. He made the earth forever, but in its current condition, it's not going to remain like this, polluted, messed with, animals going extinct. It's not going to be in that position anymore. And all of the things that man has done to affect the heavens, the atmosphere, that's not going to be seen anymore. It's going to be as if that never happened, as if it never existed, as if it was when it first came from the hand of the Creator. That's what this is going to be. Okay. Then verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yah out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Doesn't that make sense too? So he can't have New Jerusalem come to this sinful place. New Jerusalem wasn't made by man, right? He said, I make Jerusalem. I create Jerusalem. So he has a new Jerusalem to set on this earth. And he ain't setting it in pollution and this dirt, and all that. I mean, the mess that the man has made of this earth, he's not setting his new Jerusalem on that. Okay, so he's going to make it new. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their most high. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And that's what Isaiah said, the former shall not come to mind, nor be remembered. Any pain you have suffered, any hurt that has messed with you, you won't even be able to bring it to mind anymore. Replacing that will be joy and happiness. You'll know you went through something because Messiah is going to be wearing the marks of your redemption on his body forever. But you're going to be happy. And you're going to know that Messiah caused that happiness to come. And you're going to know you're not going to be able to remember all the bad things that happened to you. You're not going to be able to remember all the pain you suffered. You'll only know that you're really happy and that there's no more pain. You'll be like, the Bible says, you shall diligently consider the place of the wicked, and it shall not be. They won't exist anymore. Sin won't exist anymore. Death won't exist anymore. That's the kingdom. That's the kingdom. Praise the Most High. Wipe away all tears. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. Yes, this is beautiful. So we're talking about the kingdom. That's what about to embark on, the kingdom. We're being prepared in the spirit for the kingdom. We're being prepared. And Father is going to give us new bodies for the kingdom. Now, when the Father brought our fathers into the promised land, he expected the establishment of a kingdom of righteousness. And we saw that he expected that because he gave them the instructions, as we know in Deuteronomy, and then he told them, set my law up on plaster when you cross the Jordan. The first thing you do is set these stones up, put plaster on them, and put the covenant on there. This place that you're going to be in is built on this covenant, built on this law, on this moral uprightness. And they had also an altar of sacrifice, because why? Messiah represented the sacrifice for sin. That was the law that entered, that Paul talks about, that sin now you can see what sin is about. The law entered. That was talking about that law of sacrifice. So that now they have an altar of the sacrifice where they would sacrifice animals for sin. And they had the law there. Did you notice that? The law and the sacrifice. Today we would call it keeping the commandments of Yah and having the faith of Messiah. Same thing. See? So they had the law, the covenant there, and they had the altar of sacrifice. Well, we are going to have the covenant and Messiah, because he represents the sacrifice for sin. and he'll wear on his hands. Remember the scripture says in Zechariah 13, what are these wounds in thine hand? And he said, that which I received in the house of my friends. That's beautiful, isn't it? So Messiah, they could set up a kingdom, and now he expected, the expectation was they were going to be obedient. Of course, Father, knowing all things and understanding all things, shows what they would do in that same chapter, Deuteronomy 28. But he gives the expectation for them if they obeyed the covenant, if they followed faithfully the covenant. Let's go now, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Well, also, just one more thing I want to just point out in Psalm 145, as we passing by. Psalm 145. Let's see. Psalm 145. I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 12. Actually, I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 13. Notice Psalm 145 on our way to Deuteronomy as we're passing by. Just make a pit stop. Look at this here. I will extol thee, my most high, O King. I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts, and I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion, and slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Yahweh, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of the glory of thy kingdom, and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. So how does it say? It said, one generation shall praise thy works to another. This is how it's getting passed down, brethren. This is our heritage, or part of our heritage as Hebrew Israelites of the Father Yahweh. We praise Yah to our children. We praise Yah, and we tell them what our history is. And you know what? The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This is different than bringing a child to a church organization. Now you're just depending on the organization to raise your child in the Lord, right? That's what you're doing. But no, this is your personal testimony to your children of our history. That's a whole different thing. You're teaching your children the history of your people. You're teaching them how Yah has blessed you. You're teaching them what he brought you through, and you're praising him in front of your children. So then when your children get old and the world teaches them there is no God, or the world puts the rainbow agenda on them, they will remember, no, my father, my mother told me that Yah blessed us. They will know who they are. They won't be seeking, to get acceptance from unbelievers, because you would have taught them, this is who you are. This is where you come from. This is what your name means, or what it used to mean. This is how you got here. This is how we're getting out. And we praise Yah because he brought us through. So it says, one generation shall praise thy works to another. It's supposed to be almost like a relay. You get blessings, you relay those blessings to your children, and it keeps going forward. And to the children's children. That's how it keeps going forward. The blessings are relayed down time. See, what happens though, if you get a generation that forsakes the Most High, of course, they're not relaying the blessing to the children, and that corrupts the seed. Right? So what happened? We got into slavery. and we forgot. We were brainwashed. We were forced. Even before we came into America and into the countries of the West by slavery, we were forced before that, even by Muslims, to become Muslim. A lot of us were taken from Muslim kingdoms in West Africa. That's not how we started. That's how we were before we brought over to America as Hebrews that were Muslim. See, it already had started. But we forgot all of that. We forgot it all. Forgot who we were. So now part of the awakening is remembering who you are, teaching your children who you really are, teaching your children where you really come from, and giving praise to the Father for answered prayers and blessings that he's placed on you and your children. That's how you witness. You basically, your first area of witness is to your own household, to your children. That's your first area of witness to your children. How he has blessed you, how this knowledge has changed you, how you know where you come from, how you know who you really are, how you've been evil and treated in the nations that you're in and why. All of that you must teach your children. And that's how you relate forward, Father Yah. Okay. Deuteronomy. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. So now today, we'll study the curses next time. But this time, let's study the blessings. You know, for a long time, I read through Deuteronomy, once when I first started reading the Bible again, after my youth, after I was really young, when I was with my grandmother from Jamaica. And then I guess I got to started reading it again, in earnest when I was about 21, 20. And I was afraid to read the second part of Deuteronomy, and I would dismiss it in my mind, saying, I'm not going to leave the Lord, so I'm going to stay with the Lord. So I'm only read the blessings. And I would read the blessings, right? I was afraid to read the curses. But when I started reading the curses and really focusing on them, then I started to say, there's something here. Okay? So let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings of obedience to Father Yah, because as we call on our God, he'll restore this to us. Praise the Most High. So let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, beginning at verse 1. Deuteronomy 28, beginning at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy Most High, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy Most High will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. So let me ask you a question, brethren. You ready? So we fell, obviously. So we come back to do his commandments. If we come back and return to him, can he still do that? Can he set us on high above all the nations of the earth? The seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the remnant of the woman. Can he set us on high again? Is he able to do that? Isn't that part of our hope and promise of the kingdom? That he will do this again, that he will set us on high. Now, isn't it not the determined effort of our enemy to not allow this to happen? Is it not the determined effort of our enemy to make sure that we never do that we never come back to him, that we never keep his commandments again, that we completely turn over to him? Because that way he's figuring the kingdom will never be established like that. That's exactly what he's trying to do. And that's what we're trying to do in returning. The awakening is our returning to our God, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we're returning. And he said, okay, if you obey me, I'm going to set you on high above all the nations. Why? Because he said so. That's why. It's not because he likes our face. It's not because he likes brown skin. It's because he said so. That's why. Brethren, that's all it takes, isn't it? Doesn't matter why. It matters is. It is. He said so. That's why. Because he said so. Why is he going to do it? Because he said so. Why he choose us? I don't know. He said so. He chose Abraham. And then The seed, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and the seed of Israel. He chose us. Not because he said, I ain't choose you because you was the greatest people. I choose you because I promised Abraham. He did it. That's all. That's all we need to know. So we, return back to him, and he promises, I'm going to set you on high above all the nations. Man, let's keep going. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Most High. So he's got a list of blessings that he says will come on us. Imagine that. So just from being obedient to your God, he says, I have some benefits. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you with these blessings because you are obeying me. So here we are, captive in our enemy's land, in Babylon's system. Here we are, and we're deciding now, oh, wait a minute. I want to go back to my father. I want to go back. I'm realizing my people, who they are, and we've left my father. We need to go back to our father. Okay, we need to obey our father. Just that thought, brethren, just that action in your spirit starts a process that will end up where he says it's going to end up. Okay? Blessings will overtake you. Verse 3. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. You see what I'm saying, brother? Doesn't matter where you are. He don't care. Except he wants you where he wants you. City, field, country. That don't matter. Where does he want you? Because he's going to bless you there. When you're going on your own to do stuff, oh, that's a different story. But when you are deciding, okay, Father, I'm going to go where you want me to go, when you want me to go, where you want me to go, I'm going to bless you. He says, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you. Where you go, in the city, the field, it don't matter. I'm going to bless you. Why? Because he said so. That's the answer. Because he said so. That's why. Because he said so. Okay. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Everything you have will be blessed. Brethren, you want to break a generational curse? We know, hey, listen, we don't have to theorize. If you're a bloodline Hebrew, and you in one of these developed nations, you don't have to theorize about what a generational curse looks like. All you got to do is look at your bloodline family. All you got to do is look at your family. Very easy to see. Isn't that right? I mean, right? You don't have to look hard or far. It's not a far off. You don't got to read about it in a book to say, okay, we got a generational curse on us. You ain't got to look far. Just look at your uncles, your aunts, your grands, your cousins, your own blood. Look at them, and you'll see the generational curse. Isn't it easy? You want to break the generational curse? You want to break the curse? Go to your father. Go back to the God of your fathers. Go back to him, and he says, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless everything you have and everything you touch. I'm going to bless. Brethren, you got to understand, you are royalty, man. You are royalty. So when you belong to Father Yah, blessings, he's got angels with you. He's watching you. Remember, he said the very hairs of our head are numbered. He said not a sparrow falls to the ground without his notice. And he said, you are more valued than many sparrows. He knows us. So when you awaken, especially now as a Hebrew, because this is ordained for you. That's what Peter said. The blessings are for you and your children, he told them in Acts chapter 2. This is for you. This is meant for you. You are ordained to receive the blessings of Father Yah. So when you receive his truth and you are walking in his ways and you're giving him that praise and honor and glory, and you're doing what he asked us to do in this book and teaching our children, your whole thing, anything you touch, anything you are part of is blessed for your sake. That's what Messiah said. He said, if somebody give a cup of water to a disciple, they're blessed. He said, I'm going to bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. People don't know that because they just look at us the way they look at us, the way Babylon looks at us. But it's not important if they know. It's important that we know and that we believe, right? He that cometh to Yah must believe that he is. And he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. That's in Hebrews. And he's talking to Hebrews. Okay. Verse 5. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Brethren, it took me a long time to understand this. I'm telling you, it took me a long time. You know why? Because I kept mixing it with ideas of the religious world. I was looking for mansions and big bank accounts of US dollars. I was looking for fancy cars and all the trappings of the American dream. And that messed me up. It messed me up bad because you can't mix Mammon's standards with Yah's standards. Messed me up. And it took me a long time, many spankings, to learn what I'm telling you today. Took me many spankings, man. He had to whoop my behind a lot to get me to begin to understand. So he said, you'll be blessed in every way. It doesn't matter where you are, where you live, just as long as you are where he wants you to be, because that's part of obedience. You're following Father Yah, and you're going where he wants you to be. And he'll, like I said, he'll open doors for you where he wants you, wherever it is. You may not be happy at first being there, but if you know Father put you there, then you're working for Father. You're living for Father, right? For his glory. Well, then you're good. He's going to bless everything. Everything you do, he's going to bless you. Everything you touch, he's going to bless you. Any people you meet are blessed. They may not realize it, but when they come across your path because you belong to Father Yahweh, they're blessed. Okay? They're blessed. And what's the greatest blessing he could bestow upon us? His spirit. The spirit that Father give us through Messiah, the spirit of wisdom, righteousness, and peace. Peace especially. You know, man, people don't have peace in this world. We was talking about how, you know, a lot of people that get cancer there's a lot of times, even doctors will tell you it's related to stress. Right? Especially among the Hebrews. We got the highest rates of heart disease and cancer in the United States. And it's related to stress. We're stressed. Matter of fact, this sister taught, I think she's a doctor of psychology. I forgot her name, but I got a whole like playlist with her stuff on it. But she was saying that the average person, Hebrew, she didn't say Hebrew, but y'all know what the average Hebrew in America suffers from what they've described as PTSD. That is post-traumatic stress disorder. That is something that people that have been in war suffer from. That's where they got it from. People that were in jungles in Vietnam, not knowing if they were going to get blown up any second, or people that have been in the desert fighting Desert Storm and all of that, didn't know they were going to get blown up any second. And Joyce, right? Her name is Joyce, something, that's right. And she said, but as Americans, most black men and black women have that already. PTSD just from living here. And that's why I'm sure some of you have noticed, we talked about how people are being led away from the United States. And one of the things you'll hear on a consistent level of people that are not living here anymore, they'll say, black people, they'll say what? I have peace here. Have you heard that? Am I lying? Is there a witness? They'll say, man, it's so peaceful here. Because they're away from the struggle that they dealt with in this country. They're away from the stress of being here. The stress that we live with so much, we just think is part of life. They're away from the stress. Stress is a big one, right? So you get from the Father's Spirit peace. And people that come across your path will also feel that peace. Because Father give it to you through Messiah. let grace reign through righteousness. Yes, you get away for a second from your, where you're born and raised, especially if you were like in the UK or the United States. You get away for a second. My wife and I went to Port Mexico, and we felt it. It's like, whoa, this is a different feel, man. Dudes was walking around with Uzis and mean looks, but it didn't bother us because he wasn't targeting us. We knew he wasn't going to lay us out on the ground because of our brown skin. It was cool. We was good. You understand? They had dudes in Mexico, man. Their police look like military dudes. They walk around with Uzis in their hand, and they don't want to say hi to you. They just be looking like this, but they ain't playing. But I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel stressed at all. At all. It was like a freedom, and I was like, wow. Mommy and I both felt, it was like, wow. But what it was is we were outside of a situation of stress that we are used to living in a nation of stress. So, brethren, when you come to the Most High, he will lead you into areas of peace. I'm just talking about spiritually and physically, but he will give you peace. That's the object. That's right. That's right. Praise the Most High. So blessed you'll be in all of these ways. In verse 7, Yahweh shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Brethren, this is coming. Right now, we're in Babylon. The system is not set up to bless us. I mean, when you understand that concept, it helps you understand a lot. This system is not designed for us. It's not designed for the prosperity of the Hebrew. It is not. It's designed for the prosperity of the children of Yafet. Really, because that's who runs this earth right now. That's where the kingdom of Babylon, that's where the Bible says the seed of the beast is. That's what it is. It's set up for them to prosper. You can prosper if you surrender your will and surrender your heritage for that. You can get that, maybe. If you could sing and dance or dunk a ball or punch or whatever, you could get it. Okay, if you're willing to sell out who you are for it, you could get it. But it's not built for us. By and large, this system is not built for us to prosper. This system is built for us to be oppressed. That's why all of us, or most of us, are in some sort of debt. It's okay. Most High going to take care of that too. Okay, he's going to take care of that too. Praise the Most High. Verse 8, Yahweh shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses and in all that thou settest thy hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy Most High giveth thee. That's what's coming. Yahweh shall establish thee a holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou keep the commandments of Yahweh thy Most High to walk in his ways. More than, as the Apostle Paul pointed out in Romans chapter 2, more than the bloodline is the obedience. See, as we know, you can be bloodline and not be obedient, right? You could be bloodline and serve your Yafet. You could be bloodline and serve Asatan. So bloodline is one thing, but obedience is more. That's why Paul said, even those that are not circumcised, if they're obedient, they're closer to being Jew than you are. Because it's the obedience, right? That has to come, that gives glory to the Father. So we are the bloodline, but he's looking for obedience. He said, all of these things, he'll establish you a holy people unto himself. Again, if you're a bloodline from Abraham, you are ordained, created, made to receive this. This is for you. Okay. Yes, the Gentiles get it too. He said, yes, and to the Gentiles also. To the Gentiles also. You following it? Yeah, to the Jew first and to the Gentile also. So yes, Gentiles supposed to get it too, but you are made to have this. It's for you. Okay. The kingdom is made for you. Okay. That's the ordination. That's the order. And through you, the Gentiles are supposed to be blessed as well. But what has happened? The Gentiles have made their own kingdom. They made their own kingdom of Babylon. They copied the Hamites and made their own Babylon. And they got their own great whore and their own religious system and their own political system and their own monetary system set up for them to be blessed, for them to be blessed. And they get blessed by the enemy. But Father has remembered this, brethren. You are designed. He created you to be receiving this blessing. Your bloodline tells you you are royalty. Listen, let me ask you all a question. Those of you that believe in Messiah Yahushua, or you call him Yahushua, or you could call him Yeshaya. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm good with anything. If we was in your house, you should talk. I don't have no problem with that. But you who believe in him, is he royalty? Is he royalty? Is Messiah royalty? Let me tell you this right. There is no higher royalty than him. None. Okay. So when he walked the earth as a man, was he royalty then? When he walked the earth for the 33 and a half years he walked on this earth, was he royalty? Yes, he was royalty then. Did people around him in Nazareth and in Jerusalem recognize him as royalty? No, they did not. His own family didn't recognize him as royalty. His own brothers and sisters didn't recognize him as royalty. But when he was glorified, they did. They understood then. Okay, they understood then. But most of the common people recognized him that received him. But most of the wealthy people, the powerful people, they didn't recognize him for who he was as royalty. What my point is, it doesn't matter if the people of Babylon recognize or not. The key thing is, do we recognize who we are? Do we recognize each other as well as ourselves for who we are? That's the key important thing. Whether the president of the United States knows we Hebrews, or whether Kyrie Irving knows we're the true Hebrews, or whether some singer or some rapper or some actor knows we're the true Hebrews is irrelevant. Do we know? That's the most relevant thing. Do we know? And if we know and we carry ourselves in that manner, that's all that matters. Okay? And we know from each other who we really are. Okay, my wife and I in Mexico looking at the northern tribes, and we knew who they were. They don't even know who they were. We knew who they were. These are northern tribes. These Aztecs, these Mayans, these are northern tribes. And we knew who they were. They didn't know who we was. They didn't even know who they self was. But we knew who they was. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. And that's the important thing. Do you know who you are? It doesn't matter who else knows. Do you know? The effect is in our hearts. Do we know who we are? What we are ordained to have? Who we are ordained to be as royalty to Father Yah through Messiah Yahushua, our cousin, tribe of Judah. Our cousin, tribe of Judah. Do we know who we are? Yes, we are royalty. It doesn't matter who believes it and who doesn't. That is irrelevant to us. What does matter is, do we believe it? That's right. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28. We start at verse 9 again. I'm going to start at verse 9 and read down to verse 13. From verse 9 down to verse 13. Powerful words, man. Yahweh shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy most high and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh. They shall be afraid of thee. That's the kingdom, y'all. And Yahweh shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thy hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail. Thou shalt be above only. Thou shalt not be beneath. if thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh thy Most High, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. See how we borrow from everybody? Y'all seeing that, right? How we borrow so much. Why do we borrow so much? Are we trying really to be in debt? Do we really like debt? Do we really want that? No, we don't want that. But we're not the head anymore. This is Babylon. We're not the head of Babylon. We're never going to be the head of Babylon, nor do we want to be. We're the head of the kingdom. We're going to be the heads in the kingdom, praise the Most High. And so we are patiently being developed and waiting for the establishment of a Messiah's kingdom. As Messiah told his people, which is why they arrested him, which is why Pilate put him to death. The official reason was treason. What was the treason? Because he said he was a king. And they put the sign over the tree and they said, here is YHWH, the King of the Jews. And they put it in Greek and in Latin and in Hebrew for that the whole world's languages at that time would understand. This is the King of the Jews, and this is what our kingdom does to him, who's trying to think he's better than Caesar. That's what the point was. Messiah said he's going to have a kingdom that's better than this one. Well, we're saying the same thing. Messiah is coming back to set up a kingdom, which is greater than all kingdom. As Daniel said, it's going to stand forever. No, it's not going to be left to no other people. And we are the citizens of that kingdom. And we are the children of that kingdom. Praise the Most High. Again, focusing on who we are based on these blessings. But now we borrow. He says, shalt thou lend to other nations and thou shalt not borrow. Well, we borrow. Why? Because this is not our kingdom. So we borrow in this kingdom. We get in debt in this kingdom. Other people run the financial institutions of this kingdom. And if you're going to run an institution of finance and you're a Hebrew, you're going to have to bow to the Babylonian powers. You're going to have to bow to them to run a financial institution. Otherwise, you can't do it. Because the government is set up by Babylon, for Babylon, above Babylon. The children of Yefet, this is set up for them. Set up for them. You only get blessings from it if they have use for you. That's the truth about it. So that's why entertainers get the most money. They have use for entertainment. They love entertainment, right? All kind of entertainment. They love art. They like to watch us sing and dance, do sports and act and all that, because entertainment is important to Babylon. So therefore, they like to be entertained. They have use for you. Then you could get blessed by them if you're an entertainer. If you're Malcolm X, though, they have no use for you. Because all you do is get serious and speak truth. That's all you do is talk about how destruction is coming to Babylon. They don't want no use for you, Malcolm. You must be put to death because you are not what we're looking for in our kingdom. We tried to offer you money to join us, but you refused it. You want to start trouble. Wait till they see the 144,000. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Verse 13, again from verse 13 down to verse 14, and we'll stop here because we want to go into the curses after this. And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail. Thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh thy Most High, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, then thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. Again, that term is very common in the Bible. Don't go to the right hand, to the left. That means stay straight on what he's told you to do. Don't turn aside from what he's told you to do. That's why the Bible say, you shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. In other words, when you get off the path that Father has set for you, he's going to warn you. He's not going to just let you stray off the path without warning you. He's not going to let you stray off the path without guiding you back. And if you get too smart about it, he'll start to spank you. But he doesn't want to do that. He's just trying to guide you in the way. So when you go off the path, he said, don't turn aside to the right or to the left. Don't turn off the path of obedience to your Father. Don't turn off the path by worshiping other gods. And you'll get blessed. Praise the Most High. That's right. Lean not to your own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge Yah, He will direct your path. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil. There you go. There you go. That's right. That's right. Praise the Most High. That's right. Praise the Most High. That's it. So that's the blessings, which, again, I just want everybody to understand we can begin to receive now as we return to our Father. We're not going to receive all these blessings completely until we get to the kingdom. When we get in the kingdom and the kingdom is established, all these blessings come back on us, because then we won't be borrowing anymore. Then there'll be all the nations shall know who we are. Then, all of that happens. But right now, we can start to receive the blessing by receiving the Father's Spirit, by turning back to him as a people. I can't make every bloodline Hebrew turn back to the Father. I can bear witness myself to who we are, where we come from, and so can you. When you believe in the Father Yah and Messiah YHWH, you can bear witness. You are his chosen people, the royalty he has chosen. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. And he will do what he needs to do to get us prepared, because it's on him to prepare us. It's on us to allow him, but it's on him to prepare us, and he will get it done. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. All right. We're going to do the curses next time, or start them, because we know. I tell you this, like I said, you ain't got to theorize about the curses. You've seen the curses. You've seen it in your own self. You've seen it in your own family, right? You've seen it in other Hebrews that you see the curses. We see the curses. We're going to go through them, but it's the curses that like I said, it's different. We have to theorize about living forever, because we see death all the time, right? We ain't got to theorize about death. You can see death every day. You see death, right? But you got to theorize about eternal life, because you don't know what that feels like. We got to theorize about these blessings and take them as promises, because we don't really know what that's like. But we do know what death is like. We do know what generational curses are like. We know what it feels like. We know what it looks like. We can see that. And we're going to see that in the word of the Most High. Okay, praise his name. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon and bless you and shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.